Let's start with Sunny Lou's origin story because, honestly, it's not glamorous. Back in 2012, he tried to buy 100 Bitcoin on Taobao. He paid about $300, but then, well, the seller just disappeared. The Bitcoin never arrived. Classic, early-era crypto scam, right? He lost money. And that's the first chapter. Most people would quit right there. They'd probably say, crypto is sketchy, never again. They'd move on to traditional finance or maybe tech careers. That's rational, that's the expected response. But Lou did something different. Instead of quitting, he actually became curious. He wanted to understand what Bitcoin actually was. Why would someone even bother to scam over Bitcoin? What makes Bitcoin valuable anyway? So, he read the white paper. He got obsessed with the underlying technology, not the price, the technology. Here's what's important about this. Lou's obsession wasn't driven by FOMO or price speculation. It was really driven by technical curiosity, like what is this decentralized ledger, how does it work without a central authority, and why is that valuable? This is where most crypto founders' journeys diverge. Some pursue blockchain because they see price opportunity. They want to get rich quick. Lou pursued it because the technology solved problems he'd experienced professionally. That difference shaped VeChain's entire direction. The failed Bitcoin purchase became foundational. Not because it was traumatic, but because it sparked intellectual curiosity. That curiosity led to understanding. Understanding led to recognizing real-world application. Now, let's talk about what made Sunny Lou uniquely positioned to see blockchain's real utility. His background wasn't in tech startups or finance, it was in data, telecommunications, and supply chain management. He worked in data and telecommunications where handling complex information systems was everyday work. You deal with massive amounts of data moving through multiple systems. You understand the technical challenges. You understand the coordination problems. You understand where centralization creates bottlenecks. Then at Louis Vuitton China, he managed information systems and worked on supply chain tracking. This is where his perspective became critical. Supply chains are complex. Products move through manufacturing, distribution, retail. Each step involves different parties. Each party maintains its own data systems. That's where the problem emerges. Different parties control different data. Company A controls manufacturing data. Company B controls distribution data. Company C controls retail data. Nobody has complete visibility. Nobody can verify information from other parties without trusting them. Trust is assumed, not verified. That's a massive vulnerability. Counterfeit goods are worth hundreds of billions annually. Much of that happens because supply chain data is fragmented. You can't prove where products came from. You can't verify authenticity across the chain. You can't create a tamper-proof record that multiple parties can access and verify independently. This is where Lou's insight becomes powerful. Blockchain solves this specific problem. Multiple parties can write data to a shared ledger. Data is immutable once written. Everyone can verify the history. No single party controls the ledger. Trust is created through transparency and verification, not through assuming a central authority is honest. Most crypto founders don't understand real supply chain problems. They understand blockchain theoretically. Lou understood blockchain and supply chain problems. That combination is rare and valuable. This insight led to VeChain in 2015, but here's what's crucial. VeChain was designed specifically for enterprise use cases, not for speculation, not for getting rich quick, for solving real supply chain problems. Lou also spent time in Shanghai discussing blockchain design and smart contracts with Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin. This wasn't casual conversation. This was a technical deep dive about what infrastructure enterprise use cases actually needed. So, here's the thing. Enterprise needs are just, well, different from what general-purpose blockchains are built for. Ethereum, for example, was made for decentralized applications, smart contracts, and global censorship resistance. All of that is super valuable, no doubt. But, when we're talking about enterprise supply chains, the requirements shift. They need privacy options, performance that actually matches business velocity, integration with existing systems, and governance structures that can work for consortiums of different parties. Forcing enterprise supply chain applications onto Ethereum is kind of like, well, forcing commercial airline systems onto open-source flight simulators. Sure, the simulator is cool and technically sound, but it's just not designed for commercial aviation. Enterprises, frankly, need dedicated infrastructure. VeChain really took shape around this principle: build blockchain specifically for enterprise tracking and verification. The idea was to develop tools for tracing goods, verifying authenticity, and linking physical products to digital records. Plus, create a format that different stakeholders can actually verify. Now, none of this was revolutionary technology by itself. What made it revolutionary was that it solved a specific, real, and pretty expensive problem. Companies lose a lot of money to counterfeit goods, supply chain fraud, and product authentication failures. VeChain's infrastructure is designed to address those losses directly. If you understand why solving real business problems matters way more than just creating hype, you should go ahead and like this video right now. Seriously, one click helps the algorithm reach more people who care about actual utility. And hey, share this with other investors too. They really need to see the difference between projects that solve real problems and projects that just tell a good story. Now, let's talk about what actually separates VeChain from, those speculative crypto projects out there. Real business adoption. We're not talking about partnerships just announced for marketing purposes. And it's definitely not about roadmap promises. It's about companies actually using the platform in production right now. Walmart China used VeChain for food traceability. This is honestly massive. I mean, Walmart is one of the world's largest retailers. Food traceability matters enormously. When food products are contaminated, Walmart needs to trace them instantly. They have to recall specific batches and protect customers. VeChain's infrastructure actually enables that at scale. And this isn't just a pilot program, this is production infrastructure processing millions of transactions. BMW introduced VerifyCar to address vehicle history and mileage concerns. Used cars are a multi-trillion-dollar market, and, well, fraud is rampant. Mileage rollback is common. Accident history is hidden. BMW needed tamper-proof vehicle history, and blockchain solves that. Buyers can verify complete history, and dealers can't manipulate records. VeChain's infrastructure is what handles the technical implementation behind all of this. UFC used NFC-based verification for auction items. Authentication in collectibles is absolutely critical. Counterfeits really undermine market integrity. VeChain's system links physical items to digital records, so collectors can verify authenticity and bid with confidence. VeChain's infrastructure is actually embedded in the authentication process. These aren't partnerships, they're customers. They're using VeChain because it solves their problems better than alternatives. That's fundamentally different from most crypto projects where partnerships are marketing announcements and actual usage is minimal. The business adoption proves the concept. Supply chain companies, automotive companies, auction houses, these are serious organizations with real money at stake. They're not speculating. They're implementing production infrastructure. That distinguishes VeChain from hype projects. Over time, VeChain evolved beyond pure enterprise supply chains. The concept expanded to consumer applications. VeBetter emerged as an application that rewards verified daily actions, recycling, exercise, sustainability efforts, community cleanup. This is where VeChain's utility broadened. Enterprise was the foundation, but the infrastructure could support consumer applications too. So, people take photos of their recycling, the app verifies the action, and then, they earn B3TR tokens. This incentive system is actually creating behavior change at scale. Right now, there are 48 million verified actions across more than 50 live applications. 5.2 million wallets are earning weekly B3TR rewards. Those numbers represent real activity, real users taking real actions. It's all about real economic incentive alignment. This is different from most crypto projects. Most have white papers, roadmaps, and, honestly, a lot of promises. VeChain, on the other hand, has millions of users actually using applications. That's not hype. That's execution. That's proving the concept at scale. The ecosystem expansion also demonstrates staying power. Projects that start strong often fade, but VeChain is growing beyond its original enterprise focus, adding consumer applications, building network effects, and creating reasons for users to stay and participate. That's what sustainable crypto projects look like, not just launching and hoping, but iterating, expanding, adding applications, growing the user base, and building an actual ecosystem. Here's what makes Sunny Lou's journey and VeChain different from typical crypto narratives. It's a real founder background solving real problems. Most crypto founders come from finance or tech. They understand the technology or the markets, but Lou came from data and supply chain, so he understood the actual business problems. That shaped VeChain's entire direction. Most crypto projects market themselves as revolutionary, but VeChain was pragmatic. Build infrastructure for supply chains, get enterprises to use it, expand to consumer applications, and repeat. Most crypto projects have speculation-first economics, but VeChain had a utility-first design. The tokens exist to create economic incentives for participation, not just to get rich quick. That's why VeChain has real adoption, real users, real applications, real business value. Not because of hype, but because of solving real problems. Thank you for watching Sunny Lou's VeChain journey. From a failed Bitcoin purchase to building infrastructure that millions use, the story really shows what's possible when founders understand real problems and actually build solutions rather than just chasing hype. VeChain's continued growth, 48 million verified actions, 5.2 million earning wallets, expanding applications, proves the concept. Real problems get real solutions get real adoption. If you want to stay updated on VeChain's ecosystem expansion, enterprise partnerships, and how real utility translates to value, stay subscribed. We're tracking projects that actually deliver. Check out the other videos on TJ Crypto World. We've got deep dives on founder stories, real blockchain utility, enterprise adoption, and everything else you need to distinguish between hype projects and projects that actually build solutions. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate founders who solve real problems, and I'll see you in the next Real Project Deep Dive.